You guys all good?
Yeah, everyone stays in their positions.
So, I mean, it's been quite a big week for the team losing Chloe, and how is the team going in the wake of that?
Yeah, we've obviously gone away and reflected a lot. Obviously, when you hear news like that and a player of Chloe's quality and what she's done for the club, it was obviously a bit of a shock and a little bit devastating. So I think from there we've gone away and reflected and had a look at our environment, and I think there's certainly some positives that we can take away from this. And for us, it's about moving forward and kind of ensuring the group we have here, that they all feel valued, they're respected, we work hard, and we're here to perform. And I think so far we've done that on the field, and I think you see the unity and the connection off the field as well, and that's kind of bringing into the performances as well. Yeah, so we've had 4 days off from here, so that was nice, and we've come back together united and ready to go, and obviously we've got a big challenge with Victory this weekend.
I mean, did it come as a shock to the team that this happened? And then she also said that there is some cultural issues. Is there a cultural problem within the team?
Absolutely not. I think it was obviously a bit of a shock for us to find out obviously the letter that got put out by Chloe, and it's never nice to hear when you look at I look at myself and what I do as leading the group this season and the group around me, and it was never nice to read those things on social media. So for us it's about first that reflection piece and looking internally at kind of what can we change, are things right, can we do things differently. And the one thing I will say about the commenters will always fight for more, and I appreciate what Chloe's done and coming out and being brave and fighting for more, and that's what we want. We're pushing the APL, we're pushing for longer contracts and all those things, and I think that's positive for women's football.
She also raised the issue around pay. Can you afford to be a professional footballer?
Yeah, similar to Chloe, I've always worked, another job alongside playing football. For me, that's two-way. I'd love to be able to be paid more and to have, football as a full-time role, but I also enjoy working. So that's a choice I've made. As you know, I probably work for New Zealand Football as a women's development manager, and I love giving back and I love being part of the game on the kind of the other side of the grass. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge. We'll fight for longer seasons and we'll fight for more pay, and we definitely won't back down from there. And I know the club's very supportive of that. The chairman's very supportive. I see hopefully we can push the APL to make changes.
Well, that gap, the salary cap gap is 600,000 for women and 2.6 for men.
It's not good enough, is it? It isn't, and it's something that we all know about, and I think as you see a longer season, I think they have to make the change, and I know the PFA is working very, very hard to see kind of that shift quicker.
I mean, there's gender pay gaps across all football all around the world, but is there a hope that maybe there could be equality in that space here?
Absolutely. I think you've seen the club talk about it all the time. I think for the first time I've heard this season is we're very united as both men's and women's, so we do a lot as a unit together, both men's and women's teams. We're very connected off the pitch, which I think has been a change coming from the last 2 seasons. So I've really enjoyed it so far. It's been a pleasure to see the men's team be so successful, and obviously we're winning games as well, so that's all you can ask for as a club.
One of the biggest issues and talking points from this season, and we're a third of the way through the women's season, is 6 ACLs, including 2 now for the Phoenix. How do we unpack that? Where do we start with that?
You can't say that to someone who's recovering from ACL injury, but it's awful. It is awful. You never like to see any player get injured, and of course the ACL, which is such a long-term injury. But I think as we increase load and the demand on players, then we need to match that with things like salary, things like recovery, things like facilities. And I think the good thing we have here at the Phoenix is, the facility I'm standing is absolutely amazing. And I think, I've been to a couple of clubs in the other ALeague, and this is right up there, if not even better. So I think, we're very lucky where we are here. And for me, it's more research. It's finding out, the loading, the issues. Can we, reduce the number of, ACL injuries? And I'm sure there's a hell lot more work to be done in that space. And I guess for Marisa, I feel for her, and we'll be with her all the way, as with Grace Wisniewski as well. So, yeah.
Are we at crisis point for ACLs in women's football?
Crisis point. I mean, it's certainly, I think it's just more public and more known now. There's probably obviously a number of ACLs that happened in the past, but I think now women's sport has grown significantly. You now hear about it and you see it all around the world. So I think, more needs to be done, and I hate to see players go down injured and to be out for long term. So I'd say definitely we need more research in this space.
And how are you doing? How's the head at? Because there's that recovery space. We've got to be in the right mind frame, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge, but I think for me, having gone through it and it being kind of so fresh, it's, I feel like I can kind of speak to the girls and be kind of realistic around the 9-month recovery and can help where I can, and sometimes just not say anything, just kind of watch them and just be that sounding board if needed. So it's a tough road for them, and I'm not going to lie, it's not easy, but I know how professional both of those two athletes are, and I'm sure they'll come back stronger.
And how good is Porirua Park this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to being back there. We obviously had a good win a few weeks ago. Macy scored an absolute banger, so I'm looking forward to seeing her do another one of those on Sunday.
How worried is the team about filling that gap that Maurice's left last couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, she's huge loss. I think, her first 6 performances have been outstanding, and obviously she got the Ferns call up, the dream to go away with the Ferns, and then obviously that happens in the warm-up is never nice for any player. So big shoes to fill, but I think the depth there, I think you've seen Rebecca Lake has obviously come on and played a number of minutes already in different positions, so she's got experience in that centre-back role. We might have to shuffle some players around, but that's what football is, and everyone's just raring to kind of keep the momentum going.
And just on Chloe, had she come to you as captain talking through some of the issues before she might have made her decision? Yeah,
unfortunately not. We didn't have any discussion, so for me it was a little bit of a shock. There was a few kind of comments that we had conversations in pre-season that I thought we managed to iron out. And for me, I thought we were connected and gelled, and I thought she was outstanding on last Saturday in what turned out to be her final game. We had no idea, and I'm glad she got a nice finish from the Phoenix and from football, and I guess for me, I just want to thank her for what she kind of did for the club for the first 2 seasons and obviously the first 6 games of the season.
For you as a leader, how have you sort of managed that situation? Because that can't have been easy.
Yeah, I think it was a challenge. I think for me it was around getting around the group and finding out, how is everyone feeling? How has this affected the players? Are there things I'm not aware about? And the most important thing for me is making sure our culture and our connection is there. And I want people to feel valued and part of the group, and they have a voice. And I want us to fight for more, and I want fight for equality and all of those things. So for me, it's ensuring that voices are heard, that we kind of come together, we unite, and then I guess put that performance out onto the field, because that's the most important part.
We had Riley in here before who said she's taken a 50% pay cut. While football has advanced for women, where can you kind of conceptualise or visualise where it's at the moment after the World Cup and everything? I
think it's definitely taken some huge steps forward. I think the growth you've seen has been immense, but I think you are right, there is still a long way to go. I think a longer season will help push the APL to ensure that we can play football for longer, and so we don't have to pick up part-time work or other things around football. So I think that will go a long way in helping a full-time salary.